Hello and welcome back to the Tomb Raider Legend walkthrough. So, we've beaten the game. The only thing left to do now, really, is go through all the extras. So the first thing is that there is a little theatre mode, which is really cool. I always like it when there are theatre modes in games. They are, just something that, just a nice thing to have, because sometimes you just want to watch the cutscenes, rather than having to play through the game to get them. Especially if you're trying to make videos, like the introductions of walkthroughs, as I do. This sort of stuff is particularly helpful. You also have character profiles, so Lara Croft. Lara Croft is an adventurer, world traveller and an archaeologist who seeks out tombs and relics, fueled by an obsession to uncover the secrets of the great ancient civilizations. She's a superb athlete, and so on and so forth. There's also loads of pictures, and so on and so forth. It's really cool. I do like the extras that Tomb Raider generally tends to put in things. We also have Winston here. To be perfectly honest, I'll just leave you to read most of this. I think I've done my dues for reading in the last story, in Bayonetta, and so on and so forth. I do a lot of reading. You guys can do this yourselves. It give you something to do. Now, something that I find quite amusing is that, so Lara has a really, really short character profile, yet James Rutland, who is introduced in this game, has quite a big one in comparison. It's kind of weird. Either way, it's a really nice little thing to be able to have a little profile for each of the characters. Because it does allow you to get to know them a little bit better if you couldn't figure them out in the actual game themselves. Now, as I was saying throughout the walkthrough itself, I do really enjoy this game. It's fun. I mean, this theme is amazing. I don't think I gave enough props to this theme. It's just really powerful. And I think it really does kind of fit Tomb Raider. Then again, the new Tomb Raider theme is also bloody amazing. Survivor is Born is just stunning. But I do really like this particular style. It's very unique. And I like unique. But yes, there's Zip in all of his really bizarre character model glory. And then we get to have a little look at Alistair, who is very interesting. The fact that he's a 15th year doctoral student at Oxford and hasn't received his doctorate is pretty insane. Because those things are expensive. Like, doing a PhD is ridiculously expensive. I mean, especially doing it at Oxford. Like, if you're gonna go for difficult and expensive things, Oxford and Cambridge are your places to go. It's insane. But yes, we also have some location concepts. I do wish that we could have these a bit bigger. That's probably my one criticism of a lot of these extras, is that they're just very small. I would like kind of full screen-ish variants of these. Just because then you get to look at all the details close up, whereas here you're very much at a distance. Which is not as fun. But yeah, some of this concept art is beautiful. I mean, I really love some of the design choices in the Japan stage. It's just some of those areas are just really beautiful to look at. I mean, that particular bit in Ghana with the waterfall, my god, that was stunning. If there's one thing that Tomb Raider has always been really, really good at, it's its vistas. You just take one look at some particular shots and they are stunning. And then you have things like the King Arthur's tomb in England, which are pretty horrific in how they are in general. So there's not really a whole lot for me to talk about for these extras. It's just lots and lots of images and models and so on and so forth. There is quite a cool thing that you're going to get to see at the end, but that's about it. Now you get, I think, pretty much all of this by collecting the artifacts. So if you want to see the stuff, either just watch this, or go and collect the artifacts and do time trials and so on and so forth. As generally, as soon as you've done them, you've pretty much done everything in the game. So, now that we have done that, we get to look at the object models. Once again, I don't know why we can't get bigger versions of these models, or zoom in on them at all, but there we go. Yeah, pretty much every single model that gets used in the game here. So on some you get to see how poorly put together they are in relation to the humans particularly. If it's not Lara, they don't really care about them. As I believe can be seen in Tomb Raider the Definitive Edition, in which they spent a lot of time reworking Lara, and then didn't put any effort into reworking any of the minor characters in the game, which seems a bit ridiculous if you ask me. I just hope that doesn't show a degree of laziness going into the sequel to the reboot, because that would be really, really bad. Being lazy in video games in this day and age is pretty much unforgivable, I think. Considering how much money gets spent on video games, and how much time is spent on them, doing half measures and being sloppy is just a bad thing to do in general. Obviously, bits of problems in this game can be somewhat forgiven, because obviously this is quite old now, and it was the first attempt, well, it was a port to the Xbox 360 hardware, so the rough edges can be forgiven because it's GameCube PS2 era game rather than a previous gen game. It feels really weird that we are now in a new generation. It really doesn't feel like it, to be honest. It just feels like games have gotten to look a bit prettier, is all. Lots more particle effects as well. That's the big thing of current gen now. Particle effects, which are very pretty, obviously. I like particle effects, they're quite gorgeous, but still. Nice. Thug A, Thug B, and Merc B. So cool. Now, for some bizarre reason, Bolivia Redux is the bit where they show Takamoto's staff. Don't know why, but they do. And now we get to look at something relatively interesting. All the different costumes that you can play with Lara in. There's not that many variants, so you have the Legend variant, the Biker variant, Evening, Classic, so on and so forth. But it's nice to have the different colours and the different options. You can't use these options until you replay the levels, but the fact that they're there is just quite nice. Now, the ones that I'm missing are because I'm missing them because you need to do the time trials to get them. And, as I said before, not gonna do them. Sorry. You're not missing out on much, really. Then you've got those. There are cheat codes in the game that you can unlock by doing time trials. Not really important, but there's also this Mishaps video. So if you were wondering what happens when you fail the quick time events, here's your chance to see. Also, because this is taken from the... I'm assuming the GameCube version of the game, you can see what it actually looks like, just crisper than you would see it on the GameCube, I suppose. So, yeah, Lara does suffer a lot if you fail things. Come the reboot, they got a lot more gruesome. And I mean a lot more gruesome. Although getting eaten by a Leviathan is evidently not very pretty. Neither's that. So yes, there's Lara getting her ass handed to her, and that's the last thing that you're going to see in the Tomb Raider Legend walkthrough. Yes, there are cheat codes, but that's all I have. So, that covers pretty much everything. I hope you've enjoyed the Tomb Raider Legend walkthrough, and I will see you again very soon for the next playthrough or walkthrough. So, I'll see you then.